When I talk to new prospective clients at Tier 11, they're like, yeah, we need Google from you guys. I'm like, no. You don't need Google because you don't want to be dealing with all of those areas where Brazilian butt lift near me. Like you want to be like talking about the Brazilian butt lifts that you do in the Boston area, and right. How you do it better in an Andromeda campaign, because you don't want to be paying $70 a click on Google search because it just doesn't back out.
It's hard to grow a brand one at a time.
Absolutely. What you do want is you want your brand name over on the Google search side, of course. This is like a feeder strategy, really, like with the registration and then go to the bottom. Like, this is like this, like what's new is old to a certain degree. I don't know if you remember this in 2013, 2014. The whole thing was you had to train the pixel on whatever step it was before the step that you actually wanted, and then create other ads and create. So you would create like a lead ad, and then you would create an add to cart, campaign. You would create a lead campaign, an add to cart campaign, and then you create a purchase campaign. And they all sort of fed each other, but you had to do it manually. You did it with custom audiences. Now you don't do any of that. It's all
you still
wide
just
open
do the ads, but you just skip the media buying portion of that journey, and you still have to follow the process. And I remember someone you and I have known for over 10 years where it's like, we should probably do something like a pixel content, lead magnet, tripwire, core offer, value optimizer, ascension path.
Yeah. Ryan Dice, he doesn't subscribe to that anymore, though. He's so far.
We'd like to thank our future sponsor, Ryan Dice, for his future contribution to our show.
Hey, he's the one who got me into this. That was the first information product I ever bought, by the way. 43 split tests by Ryan Dice. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. He got me with the lead magnet and I was hooked.
It's good. No, this is the way that it should work, but it's much easier to set up. And logically, you think about it. It's like, how do humans buy? They don't buy all at once. It's like they want to feel like they're controlling their own destiny. And you're doing that, but it's informed advertising on the second step.
Right.
And that's the key. The interesting part of this is that it's a video on that one that's getting all the ad spend on the conversion campaign for the purchase. How did you guys come up with that? Was it because there's a lot of ads in there working with Lauren and her team? Was it their suggestion? Was it the client's suggestion? How did that all sort of come about?
Yeah, so Lauren did a really good understanding of like, here's the messaging that they've been receiving lately. And Lauren and her team are fantastic in saying like, hey, here's some of the angles that we can attack based on the feedback. Because the frequent asked questions, the FAQs, they're not exactly like, no, I hate you guys and I'm never going to buy from you. It was like, how soon after, we almost basically went down the gambit of this here by saying, where do the medications come from? Yeah. Am I locked into any automatic payments or contracts? Because, hey, it's cheap. So the people are concerned about, but do I have to pay you a lot of money a long time? Because it's cheap, lower lead quality kind of thing. And then how soon after I meet with the physician do I get my medication? Like it's cheap and I want it now. Will I meet with the physician in order to...
Does the video, I guess my question is does the video address those top 5? Like,
yes, it does.
It does. Okay.
Not that one video, but all of these do. And all so they do it. Yeah. So even this one says like, do I meet with a real doctor? Because that's pretty cheap. So it's kind of shady. So that's like, yes, you actually do. You do meet with a doctor. You meet with a physician. The physician will be the person that orders a medication for you when you're approved for the treatment. Like it's all, we're not just going to, send this stuff out of the back of a van. Like it's legit. Like, don't worry. And so when you have that, and you also have the founder, you have the founders, like kind of, other people that are coming on board. Like you have the founder, you have the founder's brother. He's like a famous comedian and stuff like that too. So he was involved and they were talking back and forth and addressing like, hey, how does this work and why is it important? And then we also are starting to go more towards like the upper echelon type of ads. We don't believe in normal, more like abnormal. So what's funny about this is there's a few ways that you can attract an audience when you're talking about health. And you can say, don't have TRT, have TRT. That's a have and have not. And then you have the next level up is the daily feels. So you feel more energized, more youthful, or you don't. The next one up is how did it change your life? I can play with my kids more. I have a better relationship with my spouse and yada, yada, yada. Versus, my wife hates me and my kids don't know my name because I'm always asleep on the couch. And then the final final echelon that you can reach at the top is status, which is I look like a fit, rich, amazing 45-year-old man that everyone wants to be with kind of thing. So you can kind of, we went from the it's cheap, don't have TRT, it's cheap, now you got TRT. So we're kind of testing the it's quality and you're going to feel good. And this is how it's going to change your life. Those are 241 ads that are going to bring everybody up to the top, but we have to answer the questions before we can bring them to the next level.
Right. You can't go right from it's cheap and here's your transformation.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, maybe some people will to a certain degree, but like here's your
with TRT, maybe not with enclamafene, because what's that?
Yeah. Right. And I would imagine the same thing applies on the GLP-1 side. I mean, we're using the TRT as an example here, but GLP-1, same basic strategy in a lot of ways. We got this thing and it's cheap. And then it's like, all right, well, is it legit? Like all the same types of things. You went through the same sort of scenario or sort of work, flow in order to determine what that conversion-based ad is going to sound like and what it's going to look like and how it's going to resonate.
Exactly right. And one kind of new update to the feeder that you're going to see here is I ran these in a slight different variation of the feeder, and you'll see that I'm actually not scaling this one campaign here because of the sticky pixel. And what I mean by that is this campaign here, when you look over to the side and you say, hey, there's two main groups of campaigns here. I wish I can I grow this at all? Okay, there we go.
I think so.
So here's the thing. This is This is a product. This is a product campaign. This one here is a single product campaign as well. This one here is a single product campaign as well. And then this campaign has all three, all in one. Now, this one, remember, this was going to be originally ran as a feeder, each one of these as a feeder. However, because when you set up a campaign, you're not allowed to change the attribution settings post-launch, I didn't know which way the feeder was going to go, meaning were these going to these individual campaigns, am I just going to keep spiking up spend? And is that main campaign going to be the one that converts everybody? Or can these campaigns live on their own? The only difference in the feeder strategy on Meta is the 7-day click, 1-day view, 1-day engage view. And I purposely left these here on their own saying, no, if you're hitting the right audience with the right ads and you have your own independent ad spend, you should be allowed to live on your own, not have to have this one campaign kind of do all the remarketing and do all the warm traffic and scoop it up. It started off to do that. It was 23 versus 4 versus 1 versus 4. Like it started to do that. We know that happened. But what you can see is over time, these campaigns were doing such a good job at hitting the right target, re-engaging the right target. It started to steal away from those campaigns. So this now I can see that, yes, I lost 8 in the main campaign, but I gained 8 up here. I gained 3 more up here and I gained 6 more up here. So I can see that this campaign here is reducing in new customer acquisition. These campaigns are increasing in new customer acquisition. And this campaign here is no longer going to be needed because these are such 3 different diversified users that they would not be remarketed to by the main campaign. Right. I didn't know that at the time. They're all 3 health, but they are fairly unique enough that they can live on their own. And now I have 3 independent campaigns where now a client can call up and say, John, give me more TRT customers.
Yeah.
Give me less enclamafene. Exactly right. So now we can control this.
And because they are basically going like that one master, like I look at the registrations as like the feeder, I guess. And then the other ones is the convert, I guess.
Exactly right.
Like how we call them. But anyway, so you've got all of the products in one. That is being deduped versus the other 3 campaigns as well. But because the other 3 campaigns are so laser focused on those individual products, they'll eventually take over all the volume, is what you're saying.
And they're, exactly right. And they're doing that. Not only are they taking over the volume, they're actually getting a better performance starting from a worse performance than the main campaign.
Killer.
So dropping, we lost $200 a cost per result, lost $14 cost per result. We lost $26 cost per result, which now means 46, 36, 39. I mean, how many more free customers do you want that has pure LTV profitability?
In that space for that kind of NCAC?
With $500,000 ad spend?
That's outstanding. That's crazy performance.
Right
there.
And so that's what's the creative diversification that you can only get through the creative at tier 11, combined with the what's it called? The tier 11 data suite, so that you have your first copy imports to retrain the model. But Yeah, I mean, it's good data in, good data out, good creative in. I mean, it becomes very simple when you're just good at everything.
This is 3 years ago, you would have approached this completely differently. You would have been enclomiphene, TRT, GLP-1 on Google search, probably is my guess.
Yeah.
And you would have been in that bloody red ocean competing with everybody else.
$48, $55 a click.
$50. I was going to say a $50 click. And you're getting customers now, new customers in this space.
For less than the cost of a click.
For less than the cost of a click.
The law of CPMs. That's what I always say. It's the law of CPMs. If you got a $10 CPM and a $10 click, it's your choice between you're going to be getting 1,000 people or one.
I don't know as if the world understands that.
No.
And when I talk to new prospective clients at Tier 11, they're like, yeah, we need Google from you guys. I'm like, no. You don't need Google. Because you don't want to be dealing with like all of those areas where, Brazilian butt lift near me. Like you want to be like talking about the Brazilian butt lifts that you do in the Boston area, and how you do it better in an Andromeda campaign, because you don't want to be paying $70 a click, on Google search, because it just doesn't back out.
No.
So it's
hard to grow a brand one at a time.
Absolutely. What you do want is you want your brand name over on the Google search side, of course, which I have to assume in this particular case with these guys, you got that, because there is going to be let's Google them and see how they're doing. Obviously, what are they all about? So there is that portion of it, but that's a tiny, tiny percentage of spend, as I'm guessing. If not at all, you're not even talking about it. So it's like relatively insignificant.
Mm-hmm. And what's funny about that too is like you do have that brand messaging that will overlay in all traffic. So what's funny is the same reason why Meta, you don't have to isolate each user during the stage of their funnel and bring them along to the next stage is because of that sticky pixel, and because they're moving along towards that CPA goal, that cost per result goal. That's how you can cost cap multiple campaigns and they influence each other. It's the same thing that Google's doing on an RLSA. They don't predict that you're going to back into a TCP or TROAS target. They use half-warm traffic to predict who is the most ready to buy, and then they spend on those people. So as you bring better branding to Meta, you have more people that are going to be on your website, which means half the traffic inside of Google is just waiting for those people to convert. So now your ad spend on Google is twice as effective because half the users came from Meta. And so
that's a super good point, by the way.
Rising tides floats all ships.
Yeah,
and exactly right. And the reason why you like chicken sandwiches? I love chicken sandwiches.
I love chicken sandwiches.
I had no idea that Chick-fil-A was the original chicken sandwich. But if I am looking for a chicken sandwich and Chick-fil-A is like, we fucking invented that, I'm like, I'm going to you. If you were talking about literally anything like Brazilian butt lifts, if I was like the original BBB and you see that all over Facebook and then you go to Google and type in Brazilian butt lift, like you said, and I was the one that was like, remember we're the original, I'm like, oh, duh, I'm going to go to them, not a knockoff. Same exact effect.